Late one stormy night, I heard the dog a-barking. Then I thought I heard somebody at my door a-knocking. I wondered who could be outside in such an awful storm. Then I saw a little girl with a puppy in her arms. Before I could say a word, she said, "My name is Sandy, and this here is my puppy dog. His name is little Andy. Standing in the bitter cold in just a ragged dress." And then I asked her to come in, and this is what she said. "Ain't you got no gingerbread? Ain't you got no candy? Ain't you got an extra bed for me and little Andy? Patty cake and baker's man, my mama ran away again. And we were all alone and didn't know what else to do. I wonder if you'll let us stay with you. Giddy up, trotty horse, going to the mill. Can we stay all night? If you don't love us, no one will. I promise we won't cry. London Bridge is falling down. My daddy's drunk again in town. And we were so alone and didn't know what we should do. I wonder if you'll let us stay with you. Giddy up, trolley horse, going to the mill. Can we stay all night? If you don't love us, no one will. I promise we won't cry. She was just a little girl, not more than 6 or 7. But that night as they slept, the angels took them both to heaven. God knows little Andy would be lonesome with her gone. Now Sandy and her puppy dog won't never be alone. Ain't you got no gingerbread? Ain't you got no candy? Ain't you got an extra bed for me and little Andy? Folks, I remember the first time I heard that song, and I got it wrong near the end, if some of y'all know that song. The lyrics were right. Think about the little girl. Think about what she was dealing with her family. All over the United States of America and the world, children are in very, very terrible situations. I think you and I both know that just here in the crime genre community, it's not just about murder. It's about the children that are left over, also that have to deal with what they're dealing with, what they have to absorb. And let me just be clear with you. KJ said it long, long ago. I said that in my faith and in my belief, we're like rings in a tree. It starts out in the rings in the tree, and the very start of it is that little baby. And that baby, that child, is still within all of us, in my view. So where am I going with this? I'm telling you right now that children are being abused, murdered, and all of these things. We already know this, and it's terrible to even talk about. But there's another form of just painful abuse that OKJ wants to talk about. And the only reason I want to talk about it is to get justice through understanding, okay? For the longest time, I've wanted so much to learn and to be educated, to be able to say, you know what, I can learn all about who these people are in these trials, in these criminal cases. I can talk about the court filings. I can talk about law and legality and all of that stuff. But I want to expand on that environmentally and the Angelia Solomon case. And y'all, at this point, I don't know who's on board with this. I don't know who is following along on the Angelia Solomon case. And you know what? It's okay if you're not interested. If you are willing to give KJ your ear, we will talk about factual stuff, and we will also learn to be able to say, yes, I learned this, or I told KJ this, and she learned it, or whatever, and we can apply it to future cases, or even the ones that we're interested in that we're still working on through research and analysis. Parental alienation. Okay, now we talked about, a few strings back, we talked about exploitation, and then we went to manipulation, the last live stream. And yeah, folks, hey, come on now. You might already know all of this, and that's fine, but maybe, just maybe, if you hear my demonstration and how I do things, maybe you'll be like, I didn't really learn anything that I didn't already know. Or perhaps it might jiggle a little thing inside of you being the only you're ever going to be, and it will lead you down paths and roads of discovery. So I laid it out the best I could with Angelia Solomon. And this ultimately, specifically, is about parental alienation. But for those that are interested, why don't we take the parental side off briefly and go with alienation in and of itself? Well, Martin Luther King Jr. had a really good quote when he said alienation. He doesn't say parental alienation. He says alienation is a form of living death. It is the acid of despair that dissolves society. What is the meaning of the term alienation? We talked about manipulation. We talked about exploitation. Do you know? Do you know what alienation in its totality, in its factual existence? Here it is, y'all. The definition of alienation is when a person is separated from some essential aspect of what, y'all? Their own nature or from society. Since this is a separation of two things, nature and society, those things, nature and society, should be together. Alienation commonly elicits feelings of powerlessness and helplessness. This can lead to apathy, depression, and anxiety. To alienate someone means to make them feel distant, unfriendly, or hostile towards you or me, or, it's just the way it is, y'all, causing them to become estranged or to feel like they don't belong, often through a lack of communication, insensitive actions, or turning them away from something they care about, like a group or a person. It's about creating an emotional or intellectual separation, making someone feel like a stranger, or they feel like they're just the other, right? Now, I'm just going to briefly touch on this. Alienation has been just a bullhorn there. It's loud and clear on Lauren Mathias's 9-hour and 3-hour deal. If you take this factual definition and apply it to Lauren Matthias, you've got her trying to alienate people from other people. You just believe you me. It's a fact. But the key aspects of alienating, and we haven't gotten to parental alienation yet, and do you remember Lori Hooker Daybell? Do you remember her? Well, I guess that is a case study, wouldn't you say? Alienating Tylee from Joe Ryan, from Charles Vallow. But let's move forward. The key aspects of alienating someone is emotional distance, creating a gap where affection or connection used to be, making someone feel isolated. Unfriendliness, hostility is another key, causing someone to be unfriendly, unsympathetic, or hostile towards you. Estrangement, pushing someone away so they no longer want to associate with you. You know, the only estrangement that OKJ and the Rays know it, the Rays especially know it, me and my eldest son are estranged. Is he pushing me away? Is he pushing me away so that that he no longer wants to associate with me? That's a question I have to answer. And I guess a bigger question is, do you feel alienated by anybody or anything like that? Do you feel that? Just stop and think about the definition. Disaffection, making someone feel indifferent or less loyal. And isolation, making a person feel like they don't belong in a group, society, or even with themselves. And Lauren Matthias absolutely was unable to do this because the crime genre community has rallied around Crescia of difficult research. And I'm just so thankful for that people are smart enough to understand all that. Hi, it's just Robbie. How are you doing? Just Me says she called Christina a stalker so everyone would alienate her. Great point. You know, when y'all back me up on these facts, you know, when you are giving me real-time examples, Just Me, thank you so much. It makes me feel better. Sometimes I think I'm just some dang back of the corner office, dusty office kind of I wish I was a professor type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just an old country girl. But I'll tell you this right now. Alienation happens continuously, not only on social media, but in the crime genre community. And I hope after we talk today, you will be able to go, there it is. There it is. You know what I'm saying? We talked about manipulation and exploitation. OKJ will always be loyal to the Rays and others who will absolutely embrace their own way of thinking. Walking on Sunshine says, I grew up with a lot of jealous, demeaning, and manipulating Mormon mean girls like Lauren. Let me finish this now. Know that Lauren admitted on Mormon Stories podcast that the first trial she went to was her daddy's. Okay, there you go. Okay, so I brought up Lauren Matthias, but let's move forward, okay? And I appreciate your comments. I'm walking on sunshine. So, examples, and I'm fixing to give you parental alienation examples in the Angelia Solomon case, which, by the way, her attorney wants a review hearing, and OKJ's doing her best to see if I can make it there Friday, y'all, in Franklin, Tennessee. I'm not going to have any dang live streams like all these other people. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go sit in on it, and then I'm going to get back with the Rays if, in fact, I can make it there. A lot of stuff is going on. A few of the Rays have said, OKJ, I know it's the holiday season. It's got nothing to do with the holiday season, folks. We're talking about we are slammed, but I am taking time to move forward to get justice through understanding. And I know the Rays know me, and they know after all this time, I'm going to give it my all, whether it's interesting, entertaining, I don't give a shit. We're talking about alienation here. We're talking about something that you're going to deal with every damn day of your life. Even if you're all by yourself, if you are by yourself and you're not talking to anybody. Oh, KJ, how can that be if I'm all by myself and I don't talk to anybody? How can I have this alienating thing? Folks, alienation also includes alienating yourself. And OKJ knows all about that. I'm not antisocial, but I sure as hell am not going to get set up for people to lie to my ass, use my ass, and all that. I'm sorry, y'all. I've got a negative attitude because all I've seen in the 54 years of my life is people damn lying to me, using me, and all that other stuff. And by goodness, I'm not saying that I got to write everybody else off. I love the world. I love everyone in it, even the people that want to lie and use me. But the bottom line is I want to get some peace. Some peace in the last years of my life, however many years I live. I don't know how long I'm going to live. I sure as hell don't want to live with people that's going to damn lie and use me. Okay, so anyway, examples of actions for alienation, y'all, is withholding affection or communication. Partners not sharing feelings leading to emotional distance. I could see this going into further than just partners. I think friendships. I think that withholding affection or communication. Well, in my own personal experience, there have been times that people have just stopped communicating with me, even though they've got my cell phone number and all this other stuff. But I've got to stop and think, you know what? It's not about me. What are these people going through? Who am I to say because they're not contacting me that somehow they're in the wrong? No. I won't lie to y'all. It hurts me and it makes me wonder. But the bottom line is it is what it is. I can't do nothing about it. And if I can't do nothing about someone communicating back with me when I've reached out to them and told them whatever, I've got to do what I got to do to continue to hold on to what little peace I have. We only go through this life once. It's not a rehearsal, says Carolyn AHH. Okay, Carolyn. Thank you, Fancy Nancy, Liam Forsberg, Liza Joe. Thank you for being here. Just me, you're the best. Y'all, I apologize that I went into this, but Canyon Jam. Be watching your P.O. box for a package to forward to Crush. I made up from my mind I'm going to do it. Well, I'll tell you what. Canyon Jam. If you send something to the P.O. box. First of all, I got a little bitty P.O. box. I told everybody nothing, no packages or nothing, but the Lori doll did appear, and I will cherish it for the rest of my life, okay? But if you send me something for Crescia, I promise you this, OKJ will make sure that Crescia receives it. And I think Crescia would want to receive something from you, Canyon Jam. Hi, Rita Lou. How are you doing? And I wish you'd come speak with us, says Rapper. I wish you would come speak with us. Okay. Well, I don't know who that is. But anyway, let's get back to this, y'all. This is so important to me to share this with all of you, okay? This is very important to me. It took time, it took effort, it took research and analysis, it took my prayers, it took all those things. And maybe it's not going to come out the way that needs to, get everybody all happy or entertained or anything like that, but it's got to be said, y'all. Carolyn says, I'm just trying to keep my own family close and able to celebrate. I hope I don't feel guilt over my mom when she passes. I've patronized her all my life. Okay. Things are really real here, y'all. There are real people in the comments that have got real issues that they're dealing with. And my heart goes out to that because I promise you this, I've got my own issues. And they're not any greater than anyone else's on here. I just want all y'all to know I love you. I care about you. I want what's best for you. I think of you every single day. Hi, Shemal. Fancy, you are so good at welcoming people in. But anyway, withholding affection or communication, insensitive behavior, a bad temper, alienating colleagues, insensitive. Do you know someone who's been insensitive? Do you? Opposing someone's core values. Ooh. Let me tell you something. Since I got on YouTube, it's the only social media platform I'm on. I've been here almost, 6 years, whatever. How many times have people decided to alienate themselves from me because they don't agree with me? They use their confirmation bias to make their decisions. They don't stop to think, how would I feel if I shared something with KJ and she just cut me off at the knees? Huh? Let's go there. I am sick and damn tired of people just, oh, you got to act a certain way. You got to talk a certain way. You've got to tell me something I want to hear. And if you don't, I'm going to cut your ass off. Give me a break. That's Alienation 101, damn it. Hey, Donna, you did good on that last live stream, by the way. And finally, y'all, bullying. Making shy people feel separate from their peers. Let me repeat that. Making shy people feel separate from their peers. There are people on this channel that are gung-ho, that don't have one damn issue at all expressing themselves. And that gives my heart it makes me feel good that there are people like that. But there are also people on here that are shy. There are people on here that's never even commented not one time in 6 years that are absolutely pivotal. These people, it's just like I told Wayne a while back, I'm like, you know what? All the people that I know or you know, they talk and they know all this stuff and they say it out loud and all this and that. They're so valuable. They're so valuable. They don't know what the listeners know. They don't know that the ones that keep quiet and listen are the real top dogs. Let me just be clear. OKJ's not a listener. I'm a blabbermouth talker. Okay? I could learn so much from people that never say anything because they are the ones that absolutely hold the true reality in it all. Were they meant to share that? I don't know. But just knowing that there are people out there that are the listeners that don't talk, that gives me comfort. That gives me a lot of comfort. So transitioning into this with the Angelia Solomon case, when we talk, I just told y'all, alienation in a factual basis. It's important to distinguish parental alienation from a child legitimately rejecting a parent due to abuse or neglect. That goes beyond saying, y'all. Okay? In alienation, there is no evidence, none, y'all, of abuse or neglect by the targeted parent, and the child's rejection is the result of what we talked about on the last live stream, manipulation. okay? So let me just say this real quickly. Just because there's no physical evidence of abuse or neglect does not mean there isn't any there. But one has to ask the question, when you really get down to common sense and logic, who all's looking at it? Who all is searching for that evidence? And 9 times out of 10, it's just accusations, folks. There's 1%. These are my views. 1% that, hey, there's someone who saw something. Someone who is willing to be a witness to this abuse and neglect. So if there is an allegation out there, I mean, people can say whatever the hell they want to say. And y'all, you know and I know, whatever I say, you say, or anyone says, it all really comes back to why are you saying it, right? So let's go into it very, very succinctly here. A person who alienates a child from the other parent may exhibit narcissistic or borderline personality traits and is often motivated by a desire for what, y'all? Revenge, control, or to use the child as a pawn in the conflict. This behavior involves using manipulation. And, y'all, my hope is that people will, if you didn't, go back and listen to the facts of exploitation, manipulation, and now we're talking about alienation, parental alienation, and you can see where OKJ is trying to demonstrate this. Often by spreading false or exaggerated information to create hostility and fear in the child towards the other parent. The alienating parent may not consider the child's true needs and instead prioritizes their own emotional agenda. Now, an alienating parent has characteristics. We talked about narcissistic borderline personality traits. A lot of them do, y'all. They're motivated by revenge and control. They're emotionally they're not stable, okay? Instability. And their belief in being the protector, in that they may falsely claim that the child is in danger to justify their actions while actually harming the child by forcing them to choose sides. Now, there are behaviors, and I hope you will listen because we're going into specificity with Angelia Solomon. And so if you take this in, if you ain't taking it in by now, go back, well, rewatch it or whatever. But behaviors associated with alienation is spreading false or exaggerated information. The parent may provide the child with negative, untrue, or distorted stories about the other parent. They're interfering with the contact of the other parent. This includes blocking communication, refusing to follow court orders, or creating reasons for the child to avoid the other parent. Falsely accusing the other parent. This can involve making unfounded allegations of abuse or neglect. Coaching the child. The parent may manipulate the child into making false allegations or stating negative opinions about the other parent, and using the child as someone in the middle there. The parent may force the child to be a messenger or spy, putting them in the middle of the parent conflict. Now, that is cut and dry, okay? And why parental alienation is not part of the DSM, the psychological manual there, I don't know, because there are a couple of states that will look at it legally, and a lawyer can go after someone for parental alienation. But make no mistake, judges understand this definition. Judges understand this in family court. So let's look at the facts against and applied to what I just read you about parental alienation. Angelia Solomon had levied accusations of abuse against Aaron Solomon in court at least as far back as 2013. Now, you've got to put on this timeline hat, okay? I want y'all to put it on. Think about the dates. Think about the timeline. The allegation, there was allegations, was something that occurred. It started occurring on May the 9th of 2013 when they both lived in Nashville, talking about Aaron Solomon and Angelia Solomon. And the specific reason that date is important is because that was the night that Angelia Solomon alleged that Aaron Solomon had tried to hang her with a blow dryer cord in the bathroom at their home. Now, Aaron Solomon instead alleged that Angelia Solomon attempted to hang herself with the blow dryer cord. Aaron Solomon said he called 911 following the incident, after which he says his wife was admitted to the TriStar Centennial Psychiatric Hospital. And again, y'all, that was on May 9th of 2013. Now, the very next day, not the very next day, but like a couple of days from there, the next day on May 13th, Aaron files for divorce. Okay? Now, you've got to stop and think about this. Just put yourself there. And he was granted at that time, because she was sitting in the psychiatric ward, he was granted at the time a temporary restraining order where he kept the kids, right? The presiding judge, Judge Philip Smith, also prohibited Angelia Solomon from being in possession of her children. But here it is. From there, from May 13th, May, June, July 13th, the judge ruled that the court did not believe that Angelia Solomon's testimony, did not believe it, and that the court believed that Mrs. Solomon attempted to commit suicide. Now, you would have to flip that over and say, the judge is wrong. He tried to kill her with a blow dryer cord. He got a restraining order. It was extended from there after the judge said, yes, after looking at all the facts, we have determined that she tried to kill herself. So Aaron Solomon got a restraining order extended on July 13. And then again, y'all, it took almost a whole year. Think about that. Now you've got to stop and think what was going on during that whole year, because nothing at all has been reported. Nothing at all. They divorced in 2014. On November 21st of 2014, Angelia Solomon filed a petition in Coffee County Juvenile Court to declare her children were neglected and to request temporary emergency custody. In the petition, Angelia Solomon alleged that her daughter Gracie, who was 8 years old now, you remember that, because we're fixing to put something together. She was 8 years old when Angelia Solomon says that Aaron Solomon would penetrate her with a bar of soap while bathing her, that he required Gracie to sleep in his bed against her wishes, and that Aaron Solomon would insist on accompanying Gracie to the bathroom, wiping her and giving her a bath at 8 years old. Okay? And again, this is November 21st of 2014. In the petition, Angelia Solomon also recounts a visit to the family practice physician Jay Trussler's office in Manchester. During the visit, Angelia Solomon alleges that the doctor found excessive ketones in Grant, which is their son, in Grant's urine samples, which was a sign that he suffers from malnutrition and is not receiving enough food on a daily basis. Angelia Solomon also alleged that Trussler found Grant to be showing early signs of muscle atrophy, okay? Okay, now stop. Wow. This doctor just said it's just, he's not getting fed enough. Aaron Solomon he's had custody of the children. And not only is she saying that her daughter is being molested, but now she's saying that Grant is not getting enough to eat, okay? Angelia Solomon, however, would voluntarily withdraw this petition on May 13th of 2015. So why? If it was the real deal, if Angelia Solomon really felt like her daughter was being molested and her son was not getting enough to eat, what is it right here? A whole year after fighting all this and alleging this stuff. You know how the courts are, y'all. They go on and on and on. Aaron Solomon continued to have, it wasn't like, she asked for emergency. So we're talking about a whole nother year there. She just withdraws it. Why? If I was a mother and I really felt that way and I really believed this shit, I would absolutely not withdraw shit. I don't give a rat's ass what anyone says. I would hold tight to it. Especially if, she has the cooperation of a doctor and that Grant Solomon could say, yes, I'm not getting enough to eat. Or her daughter, Gracie, continues to say, yes, Daddy did these things to me. So, Grant Solomon, the son of Aaron and Angelia Solomon, died on July 20th of 2020. And for those that have kept up with it, we all know how he died. The truck rolled over him. Everybody and their mama wants to take Angelia's side and say that somehow Aaron Solomon, who done everything in his power to make sure his son had a great baseball career and all these things. He even had a license plate with his son's name on it. He loved his son more than anything. Somehow he just decided his son's got to go, and somehow was able to make it to where the truck would jump the curve and kill his son. They did an investigation. It was a terrible accident. And although there are people out here in the world that want to look at nefarious, Aaron Solomon went on the Good God, Good Grief podcast. It's on the community wall. You can look it up yourself. He is devastated that his son died. So July 20th of 2020, Grant Solomon is dead. But guess what, y'all? 1 year later, around 1 year later, Gracie, the daughter, released a video in May 12th of 2021, not quite a year, but almost a year, entitled Freedom for Gracie. She was 21 years of age. And how do I know this? Because November 21st of 2014, the 8-year-old Gracie, and this is all backed up, so you add it up, 2021, Gracie, 21 years of age, comes out with a video saying her father sexually abused her and all this stuff. Okay? 9 days after the release of that video, and you can find it online, judge for yourself. On May 21st of 2021, Aaron Solomon filed a lawsuit against Smith, which was the other girl, Anna Smith, who wasn't involved in him molesting her. She just knew Grant, his ex-wife, and 28 other people. people. And the disposition of that was that the courts allowed Aaron Solomon lawsuit there, no prejudice, they can refile it. In other words, what the appeals court said was he can refile this, and really what it comes down to is it gives him time to get more information, which, by the way, you add in there that Angelia Solomon wanted to hire somebody, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's undercover agent there, to murder Aaron Solomon. Why did it take her so long to want to murder Aaron, right? We're going to go into parental alienation and what, in terms of her mindset toward this undercover agent. And then you're going to understand all the factual stuff, it all falls into place. So, yes, May 21st of 2021, Aaron Solomon filed this, and it's put on hold for now. I pretty much am sure that his attorney are going to add all these other details about her wanting to have him murdered and everything in the future lawsuit there. You just stop and think. If she had a leg to stand on, some would say, well, KJ, maybe she was telling the truth. She was telling the truth, but nobody would listen because it's this big cabal, these people, this conspiracy, this all this stuff, and she just had no other choice. Folks, her daughter was with her, not with Aaron Solomon. So I don't understand what this is all about. So let's look at it. Angelia Solomon was arrested April 11th of 2025 in the Cool Springs parking lot trying to hire a Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's hitman. She was arrested on this year, y'all. And then from there, the case against her, has been bound over for the grand jury on May the 1st. That's April 11th. From May 1st, it was bound over to the grand jury. She stayed in jail. The judge presiding over the case had decided to reduce the bond for Angelia Solomon from $500,000 to $250,000 with several stipulations in place. She got out of jail on May 16th of 2025. So that's the last in terms of legality. She's on home detention. She has to wear a GPS monitor. She can't get online. There's all these stipulations and all this stuff. Now, the Tennessean reported that she was going to enter a plea deal on December 12th. But then when reached by the Tennessean wrote in their thing, and you can find it online, that her attorney says, well, it's not a plea deal. It is a review hearing. And OKJ's going to do her best to get there. If I don't get there, oh, well, we'll figure it out. I'm sure it'll be online. Whatever has to be done, I'm going to do what I can do on it. We will get justice through understanding. The TBI undercover agent said, word for word, tell her to park down and walk up a little bit. And let's keep in mind that this informant was the one who was in the middle of all this with Angelia Solomon, someone she, I guess, thought she could trust. The informant says he's talking to Angelia Solomon. He says, he just said to park down and walk out a little bit. Don't park next to us. No, don't. Don't park in the same row as us. Yeah, that'll work, yeah. So this informant who's sitting in a car with the TBI undercover agent is looking at her coming into the Cool Springs parking lot. And he sees that she's coming in there. And what does she say? Okay, I'll leave my phone in the car. Now, why would Angelia Solomon want to leave her phone in the car if she's so innocent? And then the TBI informant says, the TBI undercover says, you sit in the front seat. Don't turn around. So she's gotten into the car. And she says, I won't. And then the TBI agent who's on the stand in the preliminary hearing identifies Angelia Solomon in the courtroom. And then in the recording, the TBI agent says, what's going on? Now here it is, y'all. Angelia Solomon says, my son was murdered. I'm trying to protect my daughter from being raped since she was born all the way back as far as she can remember by him. My son said he needs custody because he's had us in court the whole time. He's drugged and raped her, drugged and raped me. That's how Grant got here. I wouldn't trade my children for anything. This puts them in prison without walls. Even though Gracie has no contact. See, Gracie is living with her mother. She can't get away because of the way his attorney operates. We can't get any protection. They're dangerous. They've offed other people. They've caused suicide here in Nashville. And I know we're back on the list. Now let's stop there. You break that down. If you look at the timeline, you look at the fact that she dropped everything in 2015. Why? Why would she drop things? If this was really going on? The details that I just read to you. Lay it up against the timeline. If you're a mother, a grandparent, or just a family member of a child that you love, if you knew this shit was going on, would you really absolutely go all those years in and out, in and out, in and out? The undercover TBI agent says, you keep saying they. Who is it? And this is going to trigger some of y'all. But you got to look at the facts. You got to look at the facts. Angelia Solomon says, there's a good old boy network here. So that's who they operate with. That good old boy network is involved in sex trafficking, pedophilia. They traffic Gracie. When? When did they traffic Gracie? When? He's involved. She's talking about Aaron Solomon. So they just have a much larger industry than just being attorneys. The governor of Tennessee, the state attorney general's committee, pastors of large congregations and churches. Children are being drugged with ketamine. And maybe there's a half-truth there in another situation, y'all. I don't know. But I know there's a damn conspiracy theory going on that nobody has any evidence whatsoever about. They're being raped and molested. They don't know, but they can hear. They can't move. Who is she talking about? Who is she talking about? Her own daughter? How does she know? What did it took? Is there a psychologist or a psychiatrist or someone that has let Gracie know that, yes, these are repressed memories? Nothing of that. Nothing. No professional has come out to say, hey, this is what she's saying and we believe her. And you know what, y'all? I damn well believe that Angelia Solomon absolutely has planted this stuff in Gracie's head. And the same women that have come to me since the school in Nashville, she's saying women have come to her. Angelia Solomon says there are women that's come to her and say, yes, I've been drugged and raped and trafficked and all this stuff. Where are they? Where are they? If this was true, by God, you think that Angelia Solomon wouldn't damn get their affidavit or something? Give me a break, y'all. And Aaron's done the same to them. He's done the same thing to them. He drugged them, he raped them, and then he killed Grant after he found out that Grant was going to court. Folks, this woman, think about what she's telling her daughter. If that isn't just absolutely disgusting, forensically, whatever you want to call it, parental alienation, I don't know what it is. Because if you really want to know the truth of the matter, all you have to do is say, you know what, KJ? I'm going to believe every word she says. And then I'm going to look at the evidence and the facts and everything else. And then I'm going to see that it all lines up. It does not. They stripped me. They took the children from me. Continue to use Gracie as a doll. And the undercover says, and what do you need from me? And Angelia says, well, I understand you do civil work. What I've seen, Opie, be good. Settle down. I have my own people working for justice, says Angelia Solomon. Who are these people? Who are these people that are working for justice? Oh, hi. You want to say hi to everybody? Come here. It's my baby.
Hello.
It's my son, Andy. I apologize. He had to come in and pick up a few things. JoJo says, Opie says, I'm always good. Yeah. Sam Willis says, hi, Andy.
Hey.
Anyway, Just Me says, hello. Rita Lou says, hi, Andy. Yeah, this is called life. Did you get everything you needed, son? You might want to check the box. I didn't check it today. I love you.
Love you too.
You have a good evening. Just Me says, he's handsome. I don't want to tell him that. It'll go to his head. Bless his heart. But anyway, let's get back to it, y'all. I apologize. Again, this is my life. This is a non-monetized channel. This is for me and the Rays to get a little justice through understanding. So here we go. So Angelia says, I have got my own people working for justice. Problem is, what I've seen is that what he has proven is in the last 6 months, because I filed child support and then instead dropped it. Before I could drop it, they came after us again. And what I found out is, he's got teeth. He's never letting go. He either has to be like in prison or he belongs underground. And that's all I'm going to say for now, because it always goes back to the custody issue. Later on during it, she's talking about Gracie's trust fund. She's not talking about she's not going into, if she's going to say there are pedophiles and a ring of children's sex abusers and everything, you would think that she would continue on and on. It would freak me the hell out if I truly believed in any of that bullshit. So the bottom line is this, y'all. Angelia Solomon, in my opinion, shush, Opie. Angelia Solomon absolutely has alienated Gracie from his father, from her father. And thank you, son. I appreciate that. I love you too. Hey, be careful driving home. It's really clear, okay? And ultimately, what I feel in terms of justice through understanding is alienation just doesn't happen in parental alienation. Okay? It happens in everyday life. We either alienate people or they're doing it to us. Pure and simple. So, Sam Willis says, Opie is a good guard dog. I'm a dog. I'm a working dog. I'm a hard working dog. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Working like a doggone dog. Anyway, I hope all of y'all enjoyed our time together, but I got to get off here because now I've done lost my train of thought. I hope you will leave something in the comments so that when we get back together again, we go from exploitation, manipulation, alienation to what? What do you think? Huh? Huh? I hope you all have a good evening. Thank you for being here. You know what? Some of y'all have been coming on here for almost 6+ years. Thank you for the support because it takes a lot to put all this together. And I do love each and every one of you to get us together to get justice through understanding. So Fancy Nancy says, glad you came on today. Sweet Check KJ, Liza Joe, Sam Willow, love you. All of y'all, man, all of y'all. It's just me, Robbie. Yes, yes. Y'all be good or be good at it. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. And we'll get back together real soon. I'm doing my best, y'all. OKJ's doing the best I know how to do. So with that being said, if I'm doing the best I can do, what do I expect from myself and you? Keep on looking.